You booked this guest?
Okay.
You did the pre-interview?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to meet this guest at the door. So you're doing the warm-up for the guest. You're just making, if they've never been to a TV studio before or anything, you're trying to make them feel right at home.
So this is the control room, and this is where we do all our work. And you've probably never seen one of these before. So
you don't talk about the interview. You don't try to talk about what you've talked about on the phone. Try to talk about something completely different. What we're trying to do today is focus more on the interviewing, the questions that are being asked, but in a more real situation. So the producer, the person who did the research with the interview subject, is briefing the host, and then the host and the producer are talking about the questions that they want to ask. And the producer then goes out and meets the guest, and like they would in a real situation, brings them into the building, leads them into makeup, if they have it, into the green room, talks about the whole experience, generally making the guest more comfortable.
So this is where they do all the switching. So we have to know whether it's camera 1, camera 2, camera 3 that's on.
The host is trying to get warm with the guests so that they don't just plunge right into the interview. Some people call this cocooning, building a little cocoon, that a little bond between the host and the guest so that they feel comfortable.
We're just having a natural conversation.
Comfortable.
15 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6.
We like to think of wide open questions that kind of take us into the minds of the people. So instead of saying, for instance, how do you feel about something, which is a question we just abhor, we like to perhaps ask, what were you thinking when such and such happened, or what was your reaction? Asking, getting people to give us their real experience in a more genuine situation.
Hi there, we're here with Chandra Price today. She's a fourth-year journalism student at Carleton. So tell me, Chandra, what kind of plans do you have for the summer and beyond?
Okay. Well, really, I'm having second thoughts about becoming a journalist.
The key to a good interview is to be a good listener, so that you can listen to the responses that that your interview subject is giving you, and you can have a real conversation. If they say something that piques your interest, naturally you kind of jump in, or you ask another question, and it's really listening. It's not sitting there thinking about what your next question is going to be. It's listening to what their answer was to your first question.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Carleton University. We're talking today with Matt Charbonneau. After spending 3 years as a journalist.
What I'd like to see in terms of the interview is, instead of having someone, perhaps in an unnatural situation, sitting behind a desk or stuck in their kitchen, the nicest way to see them interviewed, and I think the most comfortable situation for them, is to talk to them while they are doing whatever activity is the focus of the subject.
If I'm a patient who's sick and in need of an ambulance, what difference does all of this technology mean to me?
Time. Much faster in time.
And to have a conversation with them, just like they'd be having a conversation with a friend, then it's much less like an interview, and I think it's much less nerve-wracking for the interview subject. It requires, from the producer's point of view, requires a lot of very tight storyboarding. You have to know exactly what you want out of the interview, and it has to be sequenced properly. And of course, you have to shoot lots of cutaways and all the rest of it. But I, as a viewer and I, as a producer, like doing interviews that way, because I think it's much more natural and much more of a conversation.
Okay, rolling.
Okay, first of all, what is your name, sir?
My name is Rick Miette.
Spell your last name, please.
It's M-I-L-L-E-T-T-E.
And what's your job here?
I'm a supervisor.
You've got a new computer here.
Yes.
What does it do for you that you couldn't do before?
Well, it gives me the privileges of accessing people and obtaining people and getting in contact with people much faster than we did before. In the past, we've had a
Compliqué?
Ah oui.
Check for your wallet now.
Yeah.
It's okay, I don't have any wallets.
What I usually find when I do an interview is that the first time somebody tells me the story is usually the best time they tell me the story. So deliberately, when we come into an interview situation, I talk about anything other than what we're going to talk about. Well, so are you going to be away on Valentine's Day or what?
I'll be here.
You'll be here, and she'll be there.
She'll be home.
So that when the camera's rolling and I'm asking a question for the first time, I'm getting a good, spontaneous answer. And there's a debate right now about whether the dispatch should continue to be run by the province or run by the region. What do you think?
I don't see it as an advantage. I don't see it as a disadvantage at the present time.
What I'm trying to do is really listen very carefully to what is being said, because I want to make sure that my questions are being answered and not just that somebody's opening up their mouth and talking.
And waiting with CML, the mouse will go directly to
I ask a question because I want information and I want to make absolutely sure that I get that information. Sometimes it doesn't come with the first question. Sometimes you have to go after it 2 or 3 times or more than that. And so I'm listening. I'm also trying to gauge how the subject is reacting to me. Is he going to be comfortable? Is he going to be forthcoming? Is there something I can do that may help him feel less nervous? If he loses a word, is it helpful for me to fill in that word, or is it more helpful not to? What kind of stresses are they under, the dispatchers and the call takers?
Stress. Stress is inherent to, that's the word, I'm trying to say the word, inherent to the job.
Try that again. Just pick up the question again. Pick up the answer. Stress.
Stress. How can I put it? When you're busy, you're more stressed. I mean, that means the telephone rings a lot more. You have to answer the phone within a certain amount of time.
Sometimes just doing nothing, just letting the man know that I'm listening to him and I'm waiting for and expecting him to deliver me a good answer that's something that I do when I'm doing an interview.
With, for example, baseball. I'm working in a happy environment covering sports. I'm applying my journalism background to something I really have a strong passion for.
Well, we'd like to thank Matt Charbonneau for coming in today, and clearly he's a player who can bat on both sides of the plate. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Wait, stay there. They were well phrased. They were.
Well, I'd like to thank my producer because he did a great job.
They did a lot of work behind the scenes and background.
Yeah, and Matt was really great. He didn't just give one-word answers. He's very good at explaining himself and what he means, and it goes.
Also listen, because otherwise.
Yeah, because if you're not listening, then he might say what you're about to ask him. So.
You feel in control of the interview? My only thought was, at certain points, Matt was really enjoying talking.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And there was one point where I interjected because he was going rambling and I wanted to get more focused.
Okay, so that's what I meant when I said, were you in control of it?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you know you only have 7 minutes to do the interview, and you have a strategy, you know, where you want to, where you want to get to, and he takes off.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically what you were talking about. It was something, and I just sort of said, okay, wait a minute, this is not